everybody. I hope everybody gets a moist bird, and I hope you love your sides and you fill your bellies, spend time with your families. Don't lose all your units like I normally do on Thanksgiving. Try not to have a mental breakdown or gambling related meltdown during family time, which
Yeah,
I also have a lot of times hard time avoiding. But let's
that's
remember it's
great
about
advice.
yeah, it's
Not
about
to
food, it's about fun, it's about family, and the gambling is going to be what it's going to be. These games mostly, obviously, never go your way, and to expect anything different, I think, is being obtuse.
I think like a seasoned gambler has learned this lesson, what I'm about to say, and that
Yeah,
is, with excluding friends, when it comes to family, it's best to not gamble in the presence of loved ones.
boy, oh boy,
Like
are you right?
that's something to do when you're alone. If you're, like after people go to bed and stuff, but like if you like have a big bet during a Thanksgiving dinner and you're distracted by the game and like potentially losing and not covering, I mean that can ruin the meal. It can ruin the
3 or 4
day.
years ago, it happened to me when I had Dallas and they had a comfortable lead, and I was doing the dishes. I think you'll remember this on the pod. And all of a
Yes.
sudden, the Giants came back and won, and I erupted. Like I
Yeah.
lost my mind. Every reverse and play and parlay I thought I hit was gone. It's like, and my
I
mom,
think
God
that was
rest her
last year,
soul,
by
has
the
been
way.
gone for a few years, but my entire life she has reprimanded, admonished, and did not appreciate during many holiday slash NFL gambling incidents the things that would come out of my mouth. So I'll try and be better. I got to try and be better, Jack.
What's your best or favorite like Thanksgiving Day football moment? Like from one of the games, like
I think maybe the Leon Lett thing. I mean, I know that was so
yeah,
long ago in the snow, but it was just, I think most people found that to be just incomprehensible. Either he didn't know the rule or he was just being a buffoon, but that was pretty bad.
you know what I was thinking today
What?
was were survivor pools around during that game? And just imagine if you had
Oh
Dallas or
my God.
it was
It's a
Miami
great,
Dallas, right? Or
it's a great question. I don't, I think if there were survivor pools, they were probably done, on a pad and paper, like
yeah,
old school.
yeah,
And I'm sure they weren't as prevalent as they are now, but man, that would be a disastrous way to lose.
yeah. Oh man. All
Oh,
right. Well, let's jump into the card for this week, shall we?
why not? Listen, I just want real quick. I was able to,
Yeah.
normally we have a Turkey Bowl tournament. One year we had 8 teams. Just to tell you how old we've gotten as a group. Now
Yeah.
we're 57, and I've been recruiting some younger kids. But basically, we went from 8 teams down to 4 teams, down to 2 teams. So now I was barely able to get 16 guys tomorrow for a regular game. Took a lot of
Oh,
work
really?
for Thanksgiving. So I'm thankful for that. We always have a great, great time out there. The game is getting younger. The kids are a nice influx into our game. It's a really good mix. A lot of talent out there, and thank God the older guys can keep it going. But it's getting harder and harder, Jack, to field the Turkey Bowl games. It's wild.
When you started that story, I thought you were going to end up saying that now you have 20 teams, like because it's not, you got the core guys got older, but it's spread throughout the community, and now there's a
You
lot,
know
but I
what it
guess
is,
not.
Jack? A lot of these younger guys, you remember us when we were in our early 20s, Wednesday night out is a huge night. They call it blackout night. These guys like to
You have
go
to
out and get
remind me.
hammered, and they're not waking up at 8 in the morning to play football.
I'm currently in a fight with my daughter because
Yeah.
she's trying to skip dinner because of Blackout Wednesday. It's her
Yeah.
first Wednesday home from college.
Of
She's like,
course
I've
she
been
does.
planning this for months.
Yeah. Well, she'll show up at the dinner. She'll poke her food around on a
I was like,
plate,
it's
look at her
6 o'clock.
phone.
Well,
And,
I
and
know you're not
yeah.
going out till 11. What do you mean you have to get ready?
Oh, man. Good
All right,
things.
Lions are hosting the Green Bay Packers in our kickoff game, which, by the way, is at 1. It's not at
Yep.
12 or
Not
12:30. It's
12.
at 1
Wow. One
o'clock.
o'clock.
Line moved yesterday off of 3, which I thought it was pretty meaningful. We both know it takes a lot to move a number off 3, but it did go to 2.5. So clearly there's a lot of Packer money coming into the market. You know, I don't know if you have an opinion on this game. I would love to hear the data, but this to me just says it just screams stay away. I think you and I both spoke earlier. I definitely sort of my first thought was I like Detroit. I usually like Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. It's their day. They've always played on Thanksgiving. They don't always win. In fact, they've
Correct.
gotten they've gotten beat pretty badly, including, I believe, a few years ago. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. It was kind of like, I think 2 years ago, it was like the Jordan Love coming out party on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes.
It was like his debut, or not his debut, but it's like he's arrived
He
and
dominated the Lions that day and
he
destroyed a lot of
killed him.
people's. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was one of them, by
Um,
the way. My son, looked at me and said, maybe you should stop gambling and find another hobby. It's ruining your
yeah.
holidays now.
Yeah. It's especially bad when you lose the first game.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get a little momentum building in the early game and and then maybe skip the middle game and come back at night and double down, or, but just like when you lose the first game and it's the Lions game and like, you're like done for the day.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, that's like sort of how it goes for me every year. I lose the first game and I'm already miserable at 4. And then I got to watch Dallas, who I don't like in general as
Yeah.
a team. And I've already lost half my units. And so I'm hoping to turn that around this year. I'm sure you're aware, and a lot of the people listening to this, it's been all over the place. Chalk City, right? On Thanksgiving, the favorites reign the day. Favorites historically have dominated Thanksgiving since 2004. The favorites on Thanksgiving are 51-9 straight up,
Wow.
40-20 against the spread.
Wow.
So it's significant with regard to that. There
When I
are,
one thing I one little mantra I always have on Thanksgiving is that if you take the home if you take the home team, kind of like what you're saying, the worst you'll do is split. Now that and that, by the way, that was before there were 3 games. There used to only be 2, right?
yeah. Then
Um,
they added the night game a few years
yeah.
ago, like 2020. One other thing that I thought was interesting, at least from a data standpoint, and who knows if it holds through. Sometimes the data isn't, strong as it sounds.
Hmm.
Um, Road Warriors. The Chiefs are the lone road favorite on Thanksgiving. Road favorites are 25-1 straight up, 20-6 against the spread on Thanksgiving since 2004.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
that line is 3.5. I still think it might be down to 3. It depends when you got it or where you got it. I think if you like Dallas and you locked in 3.5, good for you. If you like KC, then I think you can get some threes out there for sure. So we'll talk about those games separately, but I just thought those were 2 interesting data points. Another one is interesting. Cowboys and Lions haven't combined to go 2-0 against the spread on Thanksgiving since 1994.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think let's talk injuries for a second, because I actually think this is the thing that moved the number off of 3. Um, Taylor Decker, Glasgow, Ratledge, Sewell, every single one, with the exception of Awosika. The entire Detroit offensive line is banged up or out in the case of Glasgow, the center. So it seems like that was the thing that made this thing tip, in addition to the fact that, I think for Green Bay's side of the injury equation, Josh Jacobs seems totally fine. And I guess favorable news on Watson and Dobbs, although I think they were always going to play. They're still missing their center. Jenkins broke his leg a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
but I think they're on the healthier side. I mean, Quay Walker questionable, but he'll probably play. But I think that's the real like injury story in this game. That is the offensive line and the pass rush of the Packers.
Yeah.
And I just kind of get this feeling that, and you've seen this just like I have this year, when the offensive line of the Lions breaks down, they look horrible.
Yeah,
They look
because
so
Goff can't
bad.
move. You're exactly
That's
right.
right.
Goff can't
He
move.
can't move.
But
He stays in the pocket,
yeah,
and it gets really ugly. And when he doesn't have time to throw, it's like the Giant game. I mean, the Giant pass rush I don't think it's as good as the Packers, and their defense isn't as good. I mean, like, but either way, they got to Goff, and that's why they were in the game and almost won it.
Yeah, I mean, other than the center, are any of those guys out, or they're just limited in practice? I mean, I didn't hear anything about Penei Sewell not playing.
Well, it's the
It's not like
question
Lane
is,
Johnson; he's not out.
it's I'll tell you, if you want like individual, like
Well, Penei
Taylor
Sewell is the
Decker,
best player on their team. If he's not
yeah,
playing, you can't. You got to know that. I mean, it's like Lane Johnson. It's like any of the best offensive line. Andrew Thomas for the Giants. I mean, if he's out, you can't even think about betting the Giants. Penei Sewell is that good.
yeah. So anyway, they're banged up. So I think like, yes, some of them will go, some won't. Glasgow's definitely out. That's the center. That's a problem. Ratledge, questionable. Like all these guys are questionable. So I guess, it's a little early. On top of all that, they have that status and it's a short week, right?
Yeah.
So they had that status coming out of Sunday, and it's not like they have the extra 3 days to recover. So it's, and yeah, they're home, but I don't know. I kind of lean Green Bay in this game, even though I'm going to stay away. And I know I initially said Detroit, but I don't know. Something smells about that moving to 2.5. And I kind of feel like I'm siding with where the market's going there.
Okay, well, listen, some of the data supports what you're saying and some doesn't. I mean, Matt LaFleur is 25-13-1 against the spread when he's listed as an underdog in 38 games.
Wow.
So that's pretty good, right? LaFleur, Green Bay's gone 18-6-1 against the spread as an underdog of 3 points or more. So I know it's around 3, maybe 2.5. The one thing that makes me like the Lions, there's really two things in general. The reason I like the Lions, number one, I love 2.5 instead of 3, obviously. Number two is I think this is a pretty good buy low spot on Detroit after a very unimpressive game against the Giants. A lot of times I feel like teams like that, when they have a division opponent in a big game coming up against a doormat team, they can sometimes not give their best effort or look past them. Detroit was lucky enough to turn it on late, kick the 59-yard field goal or 62-yard field goal, and then, of course, win it with Gibbs in overtime. So they got through it, with a win. But I think their real focus after losing to Green Bay early in the year, I think it was week 1 or week 2, they lost with, they were horrible in that game. I think they lost 23-9. So I think they got a big revenge factor here. They're laying less than 2.5 at home. It's a buy low spot. I haven't been really impressed with Love. He doesn't have all his receivers. His favorite receiver, Kraft, is out. Musgrave is not as good. And I just think the one data point I like is the Packers have had their issues specifically with the Lions. They're 2-6 straight up, 2-5-1 against their spread in their last 8 games, and that includes game 1 of this year. So that data makes me like Detroit at home, and I just think that people are getting sucked into that recency of barely beating the Giants and saying, oh, Detroit, something's not right. But to me, something's not right with Green Bay. I just have not been impressed with Love. I thought he would take another step this year and be better than he's been, honestly. And I think he's going to struggle. And I think Gibbs is equally as good, if not better, than Josh Jacobs at this point. And the Lions have better receivers. Is Laporta back? Because I know Laporta didn't play last week. Laporta's not playing?
No, he's out.
Okay. So listen, keep an eye on the offensive line. If I have to bet it, I'm taking the Lions. Just the bias of the way Green Bay has played against Detroit. And I don't think Green Bay is going to sweep Detroit. I just don't.
Okay.
The only other thing, I will say one more thing about the Lions on Thanksgiving, and you touched on it earlier. The Lions on Thanksgiving since 2004, as an underdog, they're 0-15 straight up. And as a favorite, they're 5-1. And here you got them less than 3 at home as a favorite. I like that.
Mm-hmm. I think what I'm going to end up doing is probably putting the Packers in a tease. I just think their defense, like you just said, I don't think Jordan Love has to have a be great if they play a game like they did last week against the Vikings. He had a terrible fantasy week for me, and they ended up winning by 13. It's just, if that defense shows up and they get a rush and all the problems on the Detroit offensive line, I'll lean Packers.
Yeah, but don't forget about Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, I don't know if he's the same as Parsons, but he's in the conversation.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And Green Bay has some injuries on the offensive line as well.
Okay, let's move on. To the middle game, probably the most popular game of the day, Chiefs Cowboys. Interesting game. These guys don't play each other a lot. I was totally expecting some kind of NFC. That's usually, like Eagles, Dallas, Giants, Dallas. Like, this is a bit of an odd one.
Usually Washington, Dallas, right? A lot of times.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not loving Dallas, even though I'm kind of leaning that way and getting suckered into that 3.5 again. Like if we would have done it last week, we would have regretted it until the very end when it actually paid off. I did end up putting a live bet on, on Dallas when they were down 7-0 and then they go down 20-0. I thought it was a losing bet the whole way until the end.
21-0, right?
Yeah, it was, the 2 fumbles got them back in the game, but
yeah,
I'm not comfortable betting on them, even though I kind of like the points in this situation. To me, and now just watching the Chiefs play this season, they really have been struggling in the red zone. I don't think their defense is that great, especially. Well, look, their defense to me is very good against the pass, so that's like a nice matchup for them in this one. But I think I'm more concerned about the Chiefs offense in the red zone, like just last week, especially, they just couldn't put it in. They've been that way all season, where they're just not like a high potent offense, even when guys are healthy. So this is a bit of a stay away. If anything, I lean Chiefs, and I'm kind of waiting to get a 3. But if I have to lay 3.5, I won't do it. And again, I don't trust Dak Prescott enough to bet him pre-flop. Like, I think it's a good live bet opportunity. Maybe if they're down again and I kind of feel like, okay, here they come. They're down by 21 again. Like, I'll place a live bet on them, getting a lot more than 3.5. But first blush, I kind of want to stay away or go on Chiefs, and only if it gets to 3. What do you think?
So, I mean, there is a lot there that you said that I agree with, and some things that the data doesn't support. But I would say, listen, the Chiefs kind of let us down last week. We were laying 3.5, and of course they won by 3. So that was the difference basically between us going 3-2 and 2-3. That one hurts. It always hurts when you lose by half a point. But Mahomes did show you something in the fourth quarter. The offense showed you something in a must-win game. You said in the write-up that it was a must-win game for them, even more so than the game in Denver. And you were right. And they found a way to win it. So short week on the road with Andy Reid. Normally KC's not bad in this spot. Mahomes is very, very good on short rest. He's 19-3 straight up in those games. But the one thing that made me interesting to me about the data was, and you said it, Kansas City does not play Dallas a lot.
Yeah. Right?
Kansas City.
Weird. I don't even remember the last time they played.
Kansas City's franchise, Jack, has only played 6 road games against the Cowboys in the history of their franchise.
Wow.
And they're 1-5 straight up.
Interesting.
The last time they won a game, they beat Roger Staubach. They were 7.5 point underdogs in 1975.
Wow. Staubach.
So it's wild, right? It brings you all the way back to Tom Landry. I mean, Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson, that whole team. So that then was a big upset for them. If I'm getting 3.5, I almost am forced to take Dallas.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Dak has been a lot better recently. He's covered his last 2 Thanksgivings, the last 2 years. And I just think he's got it going with Pickens. CeeDee Lamb is on the verge of having to break out. He's been dropping touchdowns all year. It's got to stop. I know that Kansas City is very good against the pass, and I agree with you. But Chris Jones is a little off this year. He's not the same to me. And I'll tell you, on a defensive side of the ball, Quinnen Williams, I'm sure you saw this on PFF. He is the number 1 rated defensive tackle in the NFL since the Cowboys got him 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
He is dominating.
Dude,
dominating in the middle. It's going to be hard for Kareem Hunt or Pacheco, and it's going to be a push up the middle on Mahomes. which is always dangerous. They always, you look at these quarterbacks like Brady, Mahomes, Goff, Burrow, all these guys that are pocket guys initially, you press them up the middle. That's how you get them into doing dumb stuff, like throwing interceptions and making mistakes. So 3.5, I like Dallas. I don't love them, but if it's 3.5, I'm taking them. I could understand people liking KC. A lot of people think it's a must win for KC, but you know what? There's a lot of must wins, and it doesn't mean you're going to win. So this game to me, I think it's going to be 1, 2, or 3 points, honestly, either way. The way Dallas's offense is going with Pickens, and you don't even mention Ferguson, who's a really good tight end, and they have Javonte Williams. So the Cowboys, maybe they're feeding off the death of this kid Nealand. It was certainly emotional the last 2 weeks. So I don't know if it carries through to Thanksgiving, but they're at home and 3.5. I mean, I would just take it.
Okay. Let's move on to the night card. We got an AFC North battle between the Bengals and the Ravens. We got Joe Burrow coming back. Why don't you go first on this one?
So everyone loves the fact that Joe Burrow's coming back and Jamar Chase is coming back after spitting on Jalen Ramsey and denying that he did it. And then the video showed that he clearly did it. So he looked like an idiot for about a week. Couldn't get the foot out of his mouth.
Let me say something about the spit.
Sure.
It was, if this was like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, I would say, no, down and away. Not in the face, but down and away. He didn't spit. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't go like right at him. He was talking to him down and away. So it's kind of like you spit on the ground when you're talking to someone.
That's amazing. That is such a Larry David thing too. Oh my God. Down and away, not directly, not
down and away.
Hit. Okay.
If he's like in the court of the NFL defending himself on the suspension, he says down and away. But
so good.
I want to say just quick interject, and then I'll let you keep going. The thing that is crazy about this is the line movement. Like when we first got this line, which was on the 18th, okay, it was almost 10 days ago, 8 days ago. It was 10, and I guess clearly Joe Burrow news has moved it. But man, a full 3 points. But anyway, keep going.
So the data is a little bit mixed here, but I like Cincy with the 7. And the one data point that I like the most is when Burrow closes as an underdog of 3 points or more, he's 17-3 against the spread. 7 just seems like a lot in a division game. And I know Cincy's defense hasn't been great, a little bit better of late than they were early in the year. They get, Higgins is out, so that's going to hurt them. I mean, obviously they have Yoshi Voss. They have Gesicki at tight end. Chase Brown, I think, is an underrated running back. And Baltimore seems a little bit, you called it out a few weeks ago, even after, Lamar went in there and pounded Miami and he threw 4 touchdowns, you were saying, he doesn't look like Lamar. And he just isn't running the same way that Lamar normally does. Like he's almost avoiding the opportunity to run. He's taking sacks. And I don't know, this will probably be the weekend, right, that I bet against him and he breaks out and he goes crazy. But I'm willing to take a chance on Joe Burrow in Cincinnati with that stat of him, being when he's a big underdog like this, he covers 17-3 against the spread is very, very good. Although the Ravens have beaten the Bengals 4 straight games. They're 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 against Cincinnati. But this, like on a Thanksgiving night primetime thing, Joe Burrow coming back, I think he'll be prepared. And I think Cincinnati will give it a real good effort, like a shot in the arm with him coming back, because talk about a must win. I mean, if they can win and take Baltimore to 6-6 and the Steelers lose to the Bills and suddenly the Bengals are 4-8 or 4 and whatever it is with Burrow back, they may be thinking we could run the table here.
Yeah.
So I expect the Bengals to have their best effort on Sunday night. I like the 7.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And there's a couple things. Like, first of all, this week I was able to rewatch a few games, and 2 of the games that I watched, I didn't even watch that many. I think total was 3. I watched Steelers, Bears. I watched Bengals, Patriots, and I watched Baltimore Jets. So it's interesting that plays right into this handicap because there's something seriously wrong with the Baltimore offense, and some of it comes down to Lamar, but there's other things also. I think that like the play calling
Todd
is
Monken.
off. Yeah, it's dysfunctional. So there's a lot going wrong with that offense. And I know everybody, like you look at this number and it just screams up, they're back. Like they're playing the worst defense, or one of the worst defenses in the league, and they're going to blow their doors off. Right. I mean, it's a division game. How could they be laying 7? So that's how I feel about Baltimore. I'm not rushing in to bet on Baltimore. But I will say this about their defense, and I saw some data that supports what I'm about to say, and that is like since week 8, which is basically when Roquan came back, they've been
when they beat the Bears
either the best or in the top 3.
Yeah,
so they've been playing amazing, and I think if you're gonna support the Ravens in this game, it's like you're kind of saying, well, they need Higgins, and Joe Burrow is just going to be super rusty. And it's crazy to think that, the Cincinnati defense, which is the worst in the league, is going to stop Lamar. And this is the game, on national TV on Thanksgiving night where Lamar is going to remind everybody how great he is. But I got to say, I'm with you. I think that the Bengals are going to give them a game. And one of the things that I noticed in the Patriot game was how well the Bengal defense played. Now, I know it's such like a tiny sample, but they were hitting. They were very aggressive, and that wasn't even a division game. Like they're playing with a chip on their shoulder for all the bad, performances that they've had. And what else do you need but a division game to sort of show everybody that, you're not as bad as the data says or that everybody thinks you are. So yeah, I'm with you. I like Cincy plus the points, and I'm curious in the contest. Let me see what we're getting. 7.5. I would do it.
I like 7.5 there. I do.
I would do it.
I think it's a real bonus because the market on it is 7.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say that scares me about Cincy is they are the worst team in the league against the tight end. I don't know if you saw last week, Hunter Henry was a guy that a lot of people picked up and played, and he hasn't been anything for New England all year. He had a monster game. So you got to worry about Andrews. You got to worry about Likely. Like those are 2 guys here that if Baltimore's paying attention to what Cincinnati does not do well, these guys are going to be all over the fucking field.
Yeah.
And those guys are really talented and hard to stop. I know Andrews is a little touchdown dependent. Likely's more of a real threat, with the run after the catch. But keep an eye on that. I don't know what your opinion on the total is in that game, but I can almost see that one being a little bit more of a shootout, especially with Jamar Chase coming back and Burrow having that chemistry with him. And it wouldn't surprise me to see some points there. I think it's a pretty high total. If I was looking, it was like 51, maybe 52.
I'll tell you.
I think the total was high.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I went to another screen. Yeah, I think you're right. It's got a 5 in front of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's, so it wouldn't surprise me, especially the way Cincinnati's defense defends. And I know Lamar likes to throw the tight ends anyway. So like he's always getting Likely and Andrews involved. And they got that 1-2 punch with Henry and that scat back Mitchell, who's really, really quick. But I just think Cincinnati's going to be able to hang. I think they're going to give him a game. 7.5 seems like too much for me, too many.
I agree. Yeah. One final thing on that, just like watching that game is that Lamar, when he doesn't run and he relies totally on his arm, is really not very good.
Yeah. He can be inaccurate sometimes.
His accuracy is not great. It never has been. And so if he thinks he's going to become like a pocket passer to protect his health, I don't see that happening at all. Like he just not throw an accurate ball. He overthrows guys. He threw some stuff in the dirt. But it was mainly like the indecision where he's just so innately used to busting out of the pocket and sprinting downfield. And he just doesn't look like he wants to do it, or he's a little scared.
I think his knee is not 100% right. And I think when you have a knee that's not 100% right, it prevents you from having that explosiveness. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, you need your knees when you're cutting and you're pushing and you're running. If you don't have them, you're in big trouble. So what I will say about Lamar is that he's not compounding that by throwing interceptions or fumbling the ball. he's
Right.
taking sacks and they're punting and they're playing defense and they're winning games. So like, a younger player in that spot would be forcing the ball, or trying to do too much in the pocket, and then you get the strip and the fumble. He has avoided that so far. So
Yeah.
you
You
know,
know what
good for him.
another great point supporting the Bengals is like the best version of the Ravens. And I'm saying even when Lamar's like healthy and being
Yeah.
MVP, could blow out Cincinnati. And you look at the final score and they won by 5. Right? I mean, how many times have we seen that?
That's what I'm saying.
It's like,
This
what happened? What
It's a
happened?
rivalry game. Burrow seems to always stay when he's a big underdog. Burrow seems to keep it within that 7 all the time.
Yeah. He's definitely a big X factor. Like there may be so much rust on him that we get a worse version of Flacco. Like I don't know. It's a ballsy bet to take them, but I would be willing to do it with the 7.5. All right, let's move on. First game on Sunday is
No, we got Friday. We got Black Friday.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Black Friday game. Great game.
Yeah.
On the 29th, we got Bears in Philly.
Great for me because I don't shop anyway. So I just want to get, I'm just going to eat leftovers and watch this game. What time does this game start? 3?
Well, it's all about online. I mean, who in this day and age goes to a retail store on Friday with like 1,000 people at the door? I mean, what are you?
A lot of people like to do it. They like to touch and feel. You still got touch your feelers out there. You know what I'm saying? People like to kick the tires, Jack.
That's true. So this is the 28th. Sorry, I got the 29th. That's college football day.
Yep.
Rivalry Saturday. All right. Eagles, Bears is 3:00.
Okay.
Philly 7, back and forth. It went to 6.5 briefly. Now it's back at 7. This one's easy for me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Why would you get off the train?
There's no reason to. The way they're playing and you're getting 7 points, I can't imagine why we would think it would end right away abruptly in Philadelphia. The way their offense has been a little dysfunctional and blowing a 21-point lead. Sirianni in a bounce back spot has not been great. Only 8-14 against the spread off a loss. Mm-hmm. The one thing, obviously, Jalen Hurts at home. This record just keeps going up. He's 30-4 straight up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the Bears, I would not necessarily have money here on the Bears, but they do lead the league in turnover ratio. They have 16 interceptions. I think that's a big deal. I mean, if you win the turnover battle, a lot of times you win games. So
yeah,
I imagine that Chicago, I know Philly's defense has been very good. I know they've been getting better. They had a bad fourth quarter against Dallas, which is a division opponent. And Chicago was outgained against the Steelers, believe it or not, with a backup quarterback. But they made the plays when they had to. They had a beautiful interception on a go route. I mean, I can't even believe that kid got his 2 feet down. But these corners are playing some real ball. Caleb's been great. Loveland is emerging. Swift going back to Philly. I don't know if there's an angle there, but I know sometimes you like that revenge angle a little bit. And I just think 7's too many. So I like Caleb Williams' 2-0 against the spread in this spot as well on games that are before Sundays. So I'm taking Chicago.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, and I'm curious. Let me check the contest line if they got us at 6.5 or 7.5. 7.5.
In the contest,
I don't. Huh?
In the contest, we're getting the hook.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. So we're getting the hook in both games in the contest.
Yeah.
Actually, all 3 if we want Dallas, if I can get you there.
Well, that's where the market is. It hasn't gone to 3 yet.
Oh, it hasn't yet? Okay, sorry.
But anyway, yeah, I agree with everything you said. The only thing I would add is Saquon, I feel like he's still hurt.
It doesn't look great to me, Saquon. Yeah.
Yeah. He's I still think he's banged up, and I'm not surprised with, just what he's been through over the past 18 months, the amount of carries. I mean, that's like the wear and tear on an NFL running back is, in my mind, sort of catching up with him a little bit. They just can't rely on either handing it to him or dumping it off to him as often as they did. Now it's got to be, getting other people involved. And it's weird what there's definitely dysfunction in the play calling. I've said that all along. I kind of feel like they don't play aggressively. They play super conservatively, and their defense is fantastic. But as we saw last week, you're gonna get to Caleb. I mean, I rewatched your game with him, and that I didn't see it on Red Zone, but that one play where TJ Watt ragdolled. He literally ragdolled him
threw him down like Raggedy Ann and Andy. Remember those dolls when you were a kid?
In the end zone.
And that was a touchdown. And you know what killed us was we had we basically, there were some bad calls in that game that went against us. And I don't want to complain about the refs.
Me, I know.
But boy, oh boy, did we get screwed a couple times on some phantom shit. But
where you got screwed? It's so funny. We were talking about this last week on the pod. You got so screwed at the end of the game with 2 minutes left. Mason Rudolph scrambled 45 yards down the field, and they called illegal formation.
Yeah. What happened
wasn't covered.
What happened was
the wide receiver wasn't covered.
Correct.
Jesus Christ.
I know. And Aaron Rodgers, they showed a clip of him on the sideline. He saw it before it happened.
I saw that.
He knew.
Yes.
And he put his hands on his head like this. Oh my God, no.
And they called it. I don't think he would have let that happen.
Well, listen, people in Pittsburgh are freaking out like they always do, and they always blame Tomlin and Arthur Smith. And some of it is true. Listen, on the third down play, they threw a 3-yard slant when they needed 8. They threw a 3-yard slant to DK Metcalf, who got immediately tackled.
I know.
My feeling is you got to run some sort of a play. I don't care if you run a double and a cut off the ass, or you run an out, a fly, and then a zone play coming back in. You got to get past the sticks.
Yeah.
And the problem the Steelers have, there's 2 things that Steelers fans freak out about every week, and it is valid with this offense. We don't throw the ball down the middle ever. We never have crossers. We never hit the tight end down the middle. Everything's always to the outside, and it's always quick. Mm-hmm. So, and that
Believe
is
me, I know that. That's Cleveland's offense.
That is not a way to play offense in 2025. You need to send deep crossers. You need to have crisscrossing guys. Look at Pickens last week. Look at what brought them back in the fourth quarter.
Look no further than what a Dunze and DJ Moore were doing to you guys in that game. All you had to do was watch what was happening way deep downfield, these deep crosses, wide open guys for touchdowns.
And also what Chicago did, and the guy asked Tomlin about this in the press conference, and he said, I'm not going to go into schematically what we do, but he said, but I am impressed with the depth of your question. What the guy said was, they ran a 4 streak on you and you're in cover 3. Why didn't you check out of it?
Mm-hmm.
So on the touchdown to DJ Moore that you're referring to, which was right down the middle of the field and he was uncovered, cover 3, we only have 3 guys back there. They ran 4 guys streaking, right? So 2 outside guys go with them. 1 guy goes here. Whichever guy isn't covered is the guy you throw it to. He's wide open.
Right.
So the reporter asked Tomlin, why didn't you check out of it? He goes, listen, I'm not going to go into the schematics of our defense and what we do, but I'm impressed with the depth of your question. But the point is, there's a lot of things that are wrong about the Steelers. They never move TJ Watt around. He's always on the same side of the field. All these other teams, Parsons, they move around all the time. Hutchinson, Garrett.
How about Miles? Walks around.
Yes. So
he's walking around, deciding where he wants to stay.
Correct.
Sometimes he's even standing up.
And the Steelers make it easy for teams because they're like, oh, TJ's on the side every time. Yeah. We just got to double team him. And he still makes plays. Like he still got to Caleb Williams and made that play and forced 7 points.
Yeah.
And his brother said, if he's going to beat my record, it's pretty amazing that he broke it on that play, a forced fumble for a touchdown. You heard that on the broadcast?
Yeah.
And he's like, congratulations.
That was an unbelievable play. And yet, like I said on the pod, when you needed to get him when it mattered, sure enough, Caleb was just out of the reach of someone.
Yeah, he's elusive. Yeah. I mean, listen, we missed Highsmith for sure. Normally we have him coming from the other side. So when they double TJ, Highsmith's, I think, obviously a level up from Herbig. Herbig's a young player. And he's undersized. But that definitely hurt us. Listen, our secondary hasn't been great. We have the highest paid defense in the NFL, and they don't play like it. They let up 300 yards a week, and they're just not consistently good. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Mason Rudolph, I didn't think was terrible. He threw one interception, one touchdown. He was 25 for 31.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't bad.
No, I know.
And I'll tell you, Steelers had 168 yards on the ground and lost that game.
Yeah,
The defense lost that game. The defense.
100%. I mean, Caleb Williams was 50% completion percentage, but he had 3 touchdowns. And
Yes, he did. Because you know what? It's like, listen, I play quarterback every Sunday at a much lower level. But if guys are wide open down the seam, all you got to do is throw it to them. I mean, there's no one even guarding them.
I know.
It's not that hard.
Let's move on. And that means we're shortening your Steeler time when we get to that game. But let's move on to Sunday. We both like Cincinnati we both like the Bears in the Black Friday game. First game Sunday, Bears. Is Houston, right? And the Colts. Houston's getting 4.5. I don't have to think too hard about this one. I love Houston in this game. The way they played last week, CJ Stroud's coming back. I think, this is a division battle. I mean, I want to hear the data on this, but my first thought was like, man, this just feels like way too many. I know that Houston's, offense has struggled, but their defense is top notch, top 3, let's call it. And I just feel like they're going to be in this game right till the end.
The last game they played was the Thursday night game, right?
Yeah.
So they're coming in with extra rest. I don't have any data on any of these games. They didn't publish anything after the Thanksgiving thing. But Daniel Jones, obviously, the Colts played, I thought, a decent game at Kansas City. Obviously, they did not do anything in the second half with their offense. And the way Houston played against Buffalo with the 7 or 8 sacks or whatever they had, even though on the last play, Josh Allen really screwed that up, man. Because he threw an interception there. He had the tight end wide open on a crossing route for a touchdown. And I'm sure when he sees that on the film, he's going to be like, holy shit, we should have won that game, and I suck. So I just don't know. Are you sure CJ's coming back?
He practiced in full today. I mean, he is coming out of the concussion protocol, but the fact that he practiced today to me means he's gonna clear. And maybe that's I think that's already priced into this number.
What's the line in this? 4.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you would think maybe that the Colts going toe-to-toe with Kansas City may find a way to bounce back at home, but I think 4.5 is generous. I mean, I would think that Houston with their defense, even if they don't win the game, should stay within that number.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I agree.
I think I'm with you on the Texans there. Not thinking that they can win the game. I don't necessarily think Indianapolis is going to come back home and fold after losing to Kansas City, but I do think that Houston's defense is good enough to keep them in the game, especially if CJ is going to come back, and keep them in it from that regard. I mean, Nico Collins is still playing. They're getting a lot out of Woody Marks at running back. I love the tight end Schultz, but I mean, we'll see. Is Indianapolis healthy? I guess Pittman playing. Is Tyler Warren okay? Jonathan Taylor obviously okay. I haven't heard anything like that.
What's interesting is Daniel Jones is still listed as questionable, I guess, with this thing with his calf.
Wow.
He was limited in Wednesday's practice.
I like that. If you like Houston with those 2 guys, Anderson and who's the other guy? I love that guy. The 2 of them.
Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, those guys are crazy good. So if you have a bad calf at quarterback and those guys are hunting you down and you can't get away from them, look out.
Yeah. I think whatever Steichen said that he's good to go in terms of Daniel Jones. But
one thing we know about Steichen, and I said this earlier in a lot of podcasts, he does really well with his teams early in the year, September, October. November, December is a different story for him against the spread. He has not been good. So I think 4.5 could be enough here.
Yeah. Sauce Gardner questionable. Okay. Let's move on. To Arizona, Tampa. Total skip for me. Or maybe not. Baker. The line is 3. I think the big question here is Baker's shoulder.
Oh yeah, he looked like he was in a lot of pain, bro.
Yeah. So it's Teddy Bridgewater possibly, but it's just, I don't know. It's such a weird, meaningless game.
Is it meaningless for Tampa? Don't they need the game?
Well,
from a record standpoint?
Yeah, for the division, but yeah. I'm not rushing in to back them after the way they played against the Rams and the way that they've been playing, and with Baker's shoulder, all 3 of those things. It's just like they're trending in the wrong direction. And Arizona, I don't even know if they want to play. Like it's just a skip. I don't know. Do you have an opinion on this one?
Is Kyler out for the year?
James Conner?
No, Kyler Murray.
Oh,
or is it going to be what's his name again?
Yeah, he's on IR.
Yeah. So you get Brissett. So Brissett's been decent. McBride's been unreal with Brissett. Tampa's really struggled the last 3 games. We were right to be on the Rams the other night, for sure. I love the Rams, even the fact that we've kind of figured out after the debacle against Buffalo that Tampa wasn't right. Igbokwe has taken a major step back at wide receiver from what his production early. I think Tampa Bay without Evans is a completely different team. But the thing with Bucky Irving coming back, curious to see what their defense is like against the run.
Mm-hmm.
If that's possible to know what that number is, because I think Bucky Irving is a step up from Sean Tucker. I know Tucker had a great little stint there, but Bucky Irving is big. Godwin, of course, is back. And they still have Igbokwe and they have Otten. And I don't think Arizona is going to be super motivated in this spot. So in a must-win game for Tampa, I think they'll find a way to win. Probably wouldn't work our way into our top 5 either way. But I think Tampa, this is a real step down in opponent compared to the last 3 games they've lost. So this could be a
Arizona's defense is ranked 10th in the NFL according to DVOA. They're 11th against the pass and 21st against the run.
Yeah, see, that's why I think Tampa could be okay here. Because if you go with Teddy, he's going to really lean on Bucky Irving. I think the defense at home will be better, especially against Brissett, who's a backup quarterback. If I had to take it, I would take Tampa -3. It could be a get-right spot for them, get them the win they need to kind of get themselves back feeling good. And then Baker comes back, and maybe they make a run in December, win the division.
We only have to lay 2.5 in the contest, by the way.
Wow, that's really intriguing to me. Let's keep an eye on the injuries. That one, I think this could be a get-right game for Tampa. And I know it stinks and smells, and they've been horrible the last 3. But this isn't the competition they played the last 3 games are upper echelon teams.
Yeah, right. Well, who was before Buffalo? Was that a bye? But Buffalo Rams.
No, they had Rams, they had Buffalo. And they had one other one that was hard. I don't remember exact. Was it Philly?
I don't know, but I actually think
it was Philly. It was Philly.
Yeah,
because I had Tampa in that game, and Baker threw a late pick.
Yeah, I don't. Let's just watch his shoulder. I said it on last week's pod that this they're going to run the table as soon as the Ram game was over, and that was going to be their rock bottom. I didn't think he would get hurt, but I still think that's going to be their rock bottom for the season.
Yeah.
So let's just watch that.
Okay.
We got Jags Titans.
Division game. It's in Tennessee, right?
Yeah. 6.5.
Jags have been playing good football, man. Their defense I know they pulled it out last week, and Tennessee is very hard to trust against the spread. I don't know what you think about this, but
I think it's hard to bet on. Last week proved once again how hard it is to bet on the Jags. I mean, that was painful what they almost did. They ended up winning the game in overtime. Arguably should have lost it. I know the data says you don't kick the field goal on 4th and 1 because you have a better chance of winning the game. But to me,
I don't have a problem with what they did there.
Yeah, but I think if I were, Liam Cohen, I would have kicked that and taken a 6-point lead. Your defense playing good, and they have to score a touchdown. Now all they have to do is come down and kick a game time field goal, which they did.
Yeah, but
and
but Jack, if they go for it and they get the touchdown, the game's over.
Yeah, or even a first down.
That's what you're missing.
No. What I had a beef with was what the play call. Like it's 4th and 1. Why are you throwing into the end zone from the 25-yard line?
Yeah,
like, you get a first down and the game's over, and you sit on the ball. You don't have to go in the end zone. The Eagles did the same thing. I mean, be smart about going for it on 4th. Smarter.
Listen, if you would have had Rifleman sit on the ball, we would have won the game. We didn't quit. You quit.
Anyway, look, Seattle only won this game by 7 last week.
I know. Listen, we had Tampa.
I know this is an AFC South, division game, but that to me means that the Titans are going to be, equally, if not more interested than they were last week in playing and covering. And it's another game for Cam Ward to grow. And I just think that, that there's a very strong chance they'll be hanging around in this one.
I had Tennessee last week plus 13.5. We talked about it. We liked it. I'm not sure if we ended up taking it. I know I did, because Seattle historically had been 1-7 straight up and against the spread when they went to Tennessee, and that was a bundle of points. This is like kind of a different thing. This game to me is a skip. I can't imagine this making it in our top 5.
Yeah, I agree. I'm ready to move on.
Yep.
Rams, Carolina, same story. They're laying double digits on the road. Kind of very, 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 very tempting to take Carolina at home here, getting 10. I don't know what the
so bad. I cannot believe I went into deck hockey, and first of all, Carolina, what they did, they intercepted Brock Purdy 3 times. They were in the red zone the whole night. They threw an interception on the 1-yard line. That moron loser, Bryce Young, early in the game, and a horrible play call. You have Chuba Hubbard and you have Rico Dowdle, who's been dominating defenses the whole year, and you're playing a banged-up San Fran team. You're on the 1-yard line. Give it to the guy 3 times in a row. He's going to get in. Instead, you run a bootleg to one receiver who's not open, and you throw an interception in the goddamn end zone. I wanted to strangle that guy, Bryce Young. Strangle him.
Yeah.
I really did. And I knew right then we weren't going to cover. Then I'm in the car outside the rink. They score a touchdown. They kick the extra point. And, of course, a flag comes in. San Fran is offside. They said, you know what? Let's take the point off the board, and let's go for 2, which, of course, they don't get, right? So now instead of being down 7 and we're covering at 7.5, they're down 8, and they're chasing. All the momentum. So this is what I hate about coaches. This is why I hate coaches, okay, sometimes. There's nothing wrong with fucking kicking and having momentum. You don't take points off the board ever.
Yeah.
You have a positive play. You drove down. You finally scored a touchdown. You cut it to 7. Stop trying to be better than you are. Now you ruined the momentum. You gave it right back to San Francisco, and you never recovered. Stupid.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything he said. And just as a footnote, the final interception that he threw was a blatant hold on McMillan by Jair Brown that they didn't call. And I don't know. Great no call, ref. The fucking guy got completely held to the point where he could not make a play on the ball. And you get you gave an interception to San Francisco. Congratulations.
I still cannot believe that Carolina did not cover 7.5 in that game. I still am convinced that Carolina was the right side. They shot themselves in the foot with bad coaching and horrible play by Bryce Young, and still had a chance at the end to cover in a game they had no business covering, but they should have been covering the whole game. Purdy was horrible.
And it's funny. There's so many quarterbacks, and I even put Dak Prescott in this class of quarterbacks who, all the middle tier guys.
Mm-hmm.
Brock, now Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence. They show such tremendous upside sometimes, and then they also just make plays that are just so unbelievably bad.
Jordan Love too. Put him in there.
Yeah. But throwing the ball to the other team. It's frustrating.
It's so
Anyway, back to
frustrating,
this
bro.
game.
Yeah, we get
Feels
10.
like too
Is it
many,
10
but
and a
I
half?
wouldn't. Huh?
Is it 10 and a half?
In the contest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's 10 and a half, I'm inclined to take Carolina. I hate to say that with a straight face, especially with the gut punch they gave me Monday night. It took me 2 nights to get over this. The agony of losing that game. I was so frustrated what it did to me in every parlay I had them in every reverse I had them in. Thank God I hedged San Fran at the end with the rest of my units or I'd be out, but I did.
Yeah.
But I am so angry at him, and that kind of makes me want to take them as a 10 and a half point. And I know the Rams, I think the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. I've said this, I think, for a couple of weeks now. I think they're the best team in the NFC. And I think that they'll probably, I don't know who they're going to play in the AFC, but I kind of think it might be Denver, which I know sounds kind of crazy with Bo Nix, but I think their defense is so damn good. But either way, hard spot for the Rams, right? Coming off a huge blowout at home on a Monday night. Now they got to travel. 10 and a half is a big number. It's a 1 o'clock game, right?
Yeah, let's think about it. I tend to agree with you just on pure numbers alone. And this is not a bad team. They played bad. They got some bad calls, but they played bad. It's coaching, like shared responsibility across the board.
I got to look into McVay's numbers with Stafford when they go west to east at 1 o'clock. I should have that data. I don't. I'm curious to know what that data is.
We'll look that up. But yeah, and I agree. Canales, I like the guy. He's young. He's inexperienced. We saw that in full display on Sunday night. But he's also had some good games this year. So let's revisit that.
Okay.
Saints Miami. Jesus Christ, what an awful game. Skip. What do you think?
Well, Miami's off a bye, right?
Yeah, I mean these
Miami's
are two
won
teams.
3 games in a row. They've won 4 of their last 5. I think Miami's playing better football. I think Tua has kind of found his way without Tyreek Hill. It took him a while. A-Chain is still good. The defense has been better. Saints are awful. Kamara's out. I know they have Devin Neal at running back. I don't know what motivation the Saints have to play football anymore, honestly, especially on the road on grass. What's the number in this game?
5.5 and 42.
I like Miami. I like Miami in this game a lot. Miami's right in the AFC East race. I mean, they're looking at Buffalo, being like, Buffalo's stumbling. Why can't we get back in this? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of think less than a touchdown at home to the Saints here is probably good for Tua. You know, like, I don't know. I'm not sure if it makes in our top 5, but I like Miami. I certainly wouldn't bet the Saints. Saints are horrible.
Yeah, I guess I don't disagree with anything you said. I think the Saints might be done playing and competing.
I agree.
But at the same time, I just look at this and just say to myself, God, what an ugly game. But I mean, Miami's not really out of the picture yet.
They're not.
And depending on how Buffalo does this week, you just never know.
Well, let me tell you, the way the AFC, the NFC is so far superior, and we talked about this, even the numbers even support it. We've been talking about it all year on the podcast. I bring it up every week, how the NFC is just dominating the AFC in these matchups. So the NFC is a really superior conference right now. The AFC is going to be very muddled. So like teams that are on the bubble are going to be on the bubble to the last week. Like that last wild card spot, I have a feeling is going to go down to week 17.
Yeah, and may even go to a team with 9 wins.
That's what I'm saying, right.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if a team like Kansas City sneaks in as the last wild card and you got to play them in the first round. Hello. It's a disaster.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, let's move on. Atlanta Jets. Jesus Christ. Horrible game.
So it's Kirk Cousins, right, against Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor looked pretty good last week.
He did.
I got to say, I like the Jets. I mean, I don't want to say that I should punch myself in the face, but Atlanta's been terrible. Kirk Cousins is not, I don't think he's any good. I mean, and Drake London's still hurt. I mean, obviously they have Bijan.
Yeah, you got nothing.
The Jets have Brees.
I know you got Atlanta's got a good defense, but you're basically going to battle here with Bijan and Cousins and Mooney.
Yeah, and Kyle Pitts, and then you're going against like the two young Jet receivers who I like them both. I like this kid
Yeah.
Mechie that he had some sort of cancer, blood cancer, leukemia, I think he had,
Oh wow.
and it kept him out of football. He's only 23 years old, and they got
Yeah.
the other kid, Adonai Mitchell, in the trade with the 2 number 1 picks with Sauce. He showed me a lot of potential. I mean, I think the Jets have a very good young core. I mean, dare I say. And I think their draft pick on the offensive line has been like number 1 in his position all year, according to PFF. So I mean, I think he's top 8 in the NFL of all offensive linemen, and he's a rookie. So I mean, the Jets are again. This is a skip. We're not going to take the Jets or Atlanta in our top 5, but I mean, I like what the Jets are doing. I don't know if they're going to win games, but I like the direction the Jets are going in. I do.
Yeah. Brees Hall, by the way, in that Raven game, he played great.
I love Brees Hall.
Yeah.
Brees Hall is so great. If you're a Jet fan, you gotta love
75 yards. I think he had 75 yards receiving in that game.
Yeah.
Just like screen passes where he would go for 20, and the running was great.
Here's the thing, really Jack. Here's the thing that I got wrong, okay, and I admit it. On my initial assessment of the upside of Justin Fields coming into the year, I thought Justin Fields was a lot better than he is. Justin Fields is completely inaccurate. He can't throw a 7-yard out. He can't throw a screen pass. He doesn't see the field well. He doesn't get off his primary receiver and scan the field fast enough, right? So all these things that I got wrong. I thought he had great upside. He has obviously great legs. He can throw the ball far. It's not an issue. His quarterbacking skills are garbage. And I'll say this, a guy like Tyrod Taylor, who's a 500 career quarterback, if the Jets had started him every week of the year, the Jets would be a 500 team.
Yeah, maybe, but definitely better. He's an upgrade for sure. I agree with everything.
Like they could have beaten Denver in London. They lost 11-8.
Yeah.
Like there have been games where the Jets have been in. That the Patriot game, the other night, I mean, they played like they were in that game. Justin Fields sucked in that game. Toddy! I think Toddy's here.
Nice. Niners, Browns.
Oh boy.
Lions really dropping, was 6.5, then went to 5.5, and I have it here at 4.5.
I know people are falling in love with Shedeur Sanders, and why not? I mean, let's believe.
Mm-hmm.
I like you guys. I think it's too many. You got Myles Garrett. San Fran has not been good. They don't really cover spreads anymore. All you got to do is kind of stop McCaffrey. And I feel like, maybe Shedeur working with these guys for another week with the first team. Obviously, Judkins is good. So, I mean, you're going to be able to run the ball. I kind of like Cleveland in the under.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's too many. We beat them the last time we played this game, and it was in Cleveland. I don't know why this comebacker isn't in San Francisco, but I think like it's funny. The San Francisco defense, despite how banged up they are, they keep turning in these amazing efforts, with all these replacement level players. So like credit to Robert Saleh for doing that again against Carolina. We saw him do it earlier in the year against the Rams. He's just like, he's got nobody, and yet they show up and get pressure. You know what I mean? So if they get a lot of pressure on Shedeur Sanders in this game, we're in trouble. Because he's, I agree. He's an upgrade on Dillon Gabriel. He sees the field better. I think his football IQ is much higher. But he actually has trouble executing, just like Justin Fields, like just making the throw. And I mean, he got the win against the Raiders, but I think this is a totally different, ball game. And I also think that they're going to be going up against an offensive line that's not nearly, they're not going to get 10 sacks again. So, I think it might be closer than people think. I don't really see us winning this game, but San Francisco's, what are they, 8-5? Like they're
they're scratching it out with smoke and mirrors. Like you got to give Shanahan credit for keeping him in this season with all these injuries. So I just think Myles Garrett's playing at another level, And I think Shador Sanders might be lightning in a bottle, and I'm not betting against that. I'm not saying I'm taking San Fran or Cleveland. Probably wouldn't make it in our top 5. Gun to my head, I'm taking Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I'm leading Cleveland also. Let's move on to Minnesota, Seattle. This is one that I really like.
Jack.
And I think we can all
so bad.
Well, I just think we can get some good CLV here. And it's just going to be like we are going to see a quarterback who's never taken a snap before, because JJ's hurt, and we're going to see Max Brosmer, who was very good. You don't remember him, but he played at University of Minnesota. And by the way, University of Minnesota quarterback has never started in the NFL.
Wow.
Which is a weird stat, because back in the day, like way back in the day, they were winning national championships. And to think that during that little run, whenever that was, like in the 30s or 40s,
that they never had a starting quarterback in the NFL is wild.
Yeah. But anyway, this guy's making his first start, and their offensive line is beat up. I think they're two starting, the left tackle and the right tackle, let me double check this, are both out for Minnesota. Sorry, it's just Darisaw. So sorry, the left guard. So Darisaw and Donovan Jackson, the left guard and the left tackle, are both questionable. They may not play against the Seattle pass rush. Leonard Williams against some poor kid is just going to get destroyed. And then you have this rookie quarterback. I mean, I don't know that and the Minnesota offense is already bad. Now, this kid was very good in college, and like reporters have been asking them why this guy's on the team, like throughout preseason and even this season. And they all, to a person on the Minnesota coaching staff, said, no, this isn't just we need to fill a spot. This kid's good. That said, he hasn't played. And as we both know, Minnesota has some very good wide receivers. So if they somehow protect, and he could easily be better than JJ McCarthy. I mean, that is not by any means a stretch of the imagination with the way things go in the NFL.
So basically you're telling me you like Minnesota plus 10.5 is what you're telling me.
No. I think I'm making a little bit of a case for them right now, but I think this is a blowout. I think this is a Seattle all the way. And we only have to lay 10.5.
Survivor teams have Seattle left?
I doubt it, but if you do, congratulations. Someone has it, but who never thought they'd be at their third string quarterback in this game, but they are. And I think
I'll just give you my opinion on this thing. I had Minnesota last week at Green Bay, and the game, they were in the game. And
it was my only loss.
Their fucking punt returner, idiot, fucking went near a punt. It hit off his leg and gave the ball to Green Bay, and the game turned on a dime, and they never recovered. JJ McCarthy's terrible. I don't care who his receivers are. He can't get him the ball. Their offensive line isn't good. They don't run the ball well. They don't throw the ball to Hawkinson. When I look at their skill position players, they're the best, some of the best players in the league. They don't get him the ball. It doesn't matter. Now, whether or not this kid can do it, I don't know. Smith and Jigba, I think, is top 3 receiver in the NFL. Absolutely dominating, uncoverable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I know Flores is a blitz happy guy. Sam Darnold sometimes against the blitz is not great. Yeah. So 10.5 seems like a big number. Seattle doesn't really cover all the time. I don't want this in my top 5 unless you really convince me that Seattle is going to blow them out. And the way I think that's played last week, they really screwed me because of McCarthy and because of a special teams era. But the defense played pretty hard. I mean, it really wasn't on the defense, that loss.
Yeah. I just see this game as we're already getting CLV. The contest line's probably 10.5. Let me just double check that. Oh God, it's 11.5. So it's there where the market is, but yeah, it's just running wild. And I kind of think I could see a 24-0 at halftime and then them coasting and maybe the back door's open, but
let's see how
I just can't imagine.
You never know with a rookie quarterback, and that's the danger. And if you say this kid was good at one point and he has all those weapons and O'Connell can figure it out, maybe this kid has a great game and they move on from JJ McCarthy. Who knows?
Yeah.
So this game would scare me. I don't want this in my top 5.
Yeah. Yeah. This could be another Brock Purdy. Like who? Yeah. Oh yeah, the kid from Minnesota. You never heard of him? He was amazing. You
don't know, especially with O'Connell.
Right. Okay. Let's come back to that. Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Got that. I guess that's getting into the late card on 4:25. That other one was 4 o'clock. Yeah, 3.5. Yeah. I mean, when I first saw this, and after rewatching the Bears game with you guys and seeing your secondary get torched, and I just thought to myself, Jesus, if the Bears can do that, like, what are the Bills going to do coming off extra rest? They have just as potent of an offense, a better offensive line. And I will say this, that they have a problem injury-wise. The left tackle, and I think it's both tackles, but basically Deion Dawkins is questionable, and so is Spencer Brown. Those are both tackles. TJ Watt. Is Highsmith playing? Is he healthy?
I don't think so.
Well, you got
Steelers have 2 injuries too that are significant. Broderick Jones starting starting right tackle, I believe. Is out.
Left tackle.
He's out.
And Metcalf,
the rookie
DK
Harmon,
Metcalf.
Derek Harmon is out.
Yeah, DK Metcalf didn't practice today.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a Steeler fan.
Rodgers.
Steeler fans are obviously up in arms every time we lose a game with Tomlin, and we talked about it earlier in the thing. But I will say this. I think Buffalo hasn't been the same team this year. I don't know what's going on with them. I think McDermott's on the hot seat. I don't love the way Buffalo's skill position players are playing outside of James Cook. They don't have a real number 1 receiver. I told you this going into the trade deadline, that they needed to make a lot of moves to be a Super Bowl contender. They didn't do it. And I'll tell you this, they didn't get Shaheed. They didn't get McLaurin. I mean, they didn't even try. So I just don't think Buffalo on the road has been very good. I think they're coming off a humbling game against Houston. I think they've lost. They got killed at Miami. I know they beat Carolina, and Carolina pretty good, and it's still Josh Allen. But I like Tomlin off a loss against the spread at home, especially. I think his numbers support that. And if Rodgers plays, which I think he might, the defense should be better at home. I'll take 3.5 at home. I mean, I'm not anxious to lay that with the Bills, especially the way they played on the road this year. I mean, this isn't the Bills team of last year or even the last few years for that matter. So I'm okay taking Pittsburgh in a bounce back here. I didn't think they played horrible football last week. I think the refs kind of screwed them on a couple short fields. A couple times we had them stopped, even inside their own, like right after that turnover. We had them stopped inside their own 10, and the 3rd down penalty bailed them out, and they came down and scored. I know you have questions about our secondary, and rightly so. We talked about the defense not being worth the money that we pay them, but listen, the Steelers to me are a very up and down team, right? 1 week up, 1 week down, 1 week up, 1 week down. So, Chicago's a good team. They found a way to win again, and now it's the Steelers' job to come home and take care of business. And I think they will. I think it's a down year for the Bills.
Okay. You're not going to get me there on Pittsburgh. I'm not disagreeing with some of what you're saying, and it wouldn't surprise me if they were both competitive and win this game. However, if our line in the contest is 3.5, and if Mason Rudolph is named the starter, I mean, I just saw on the injury update for Aaron that he's going to attempt to practice Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And luckily, this is a Sunday game and not a Thanksgiving game. So let's just come back to it. I'm going to try to talk you into the Buffalo if Mason Rudolph is starting, but I know you probably won't even do that. So let's move on.
If the game was in Buffalo, I would take Buffalo because we don't play well there. But I don't think Buffalo has a great history in Pittsburgh, number 1. And I don't like the way the Buffalo is playing on the road. I just don't love the way they're playing.
Well, against a weak defense, I mean, we saw what they did to Carolina. Miami's defense stepped up, but they can beat teams up. And I just kind of feel like you guys are very vulnerable in the secondary, especially. And Josh is obviously great. And coming off 10 days rest after a bad performance, he's going to be angry. And I just didn't see enough from your defense to make me think anyone on Buffalo is scared.
Yeah.
But, let's move on.
We'll revisit it.
Chargers laying 10. Raiders coming off one of the worst performances of the season. They got blown out by the Cleveland Browns, and Chip Kelly got fired that night. I don't even think they waited till Monday. This seems like a lot to lay in a division game. What's the data say on this one?
I wish I had the data on it again.
You don't have Sunday stuff. Okay.
For the Sunday stuff past Thanksgiving. Yep. But I mean, I know Herbert took this loss really, really hard.
Which one?
The loss in his last game at Jacksonville, and they came up, and then they've been on a bye. The Raiders are, I backed the Raiders a few times early in the year up until like 3 weeks ago. And after that loss to Jacksonville, listen, the reality is Geno Smith is horrendous. They traded Jacoby Myers. Gentry's a little banged up. Chargers are coming off of a bye. This is a complete reset for Harbaugh. I think it's a good chance for him to get this team back focused. I think this is a blowout.
Really?
Yeah. I think
just look at the Raider.
I think the Chargers have a lot of weapons. I think they got blindsided going into Jacksonville with that defense and the performance. Listen, Joe Alt missing is a big deal. We know it, but they've had time now off, and they have great receivers. A really good tight end in Gadsden, who I think got healthy here. Even I saw Marion Hampton back on the field practicing again. So that's coming for them. I think that gives them some hope. And I think the defense is going to be healthy and ready to go. I don't like what I'm seeing out of the Raiders at all on offense. How are they going to score?
Yeah, I just think it's too many, Shell. I'm not gonna lay this kind of number from what I've seen out of the Chargers, from what I've seen out of Herbert.
Yeah,
laying double digits in a division game, and especially coming off of a horrible performance, like they're gonna bring every bit of effort that they have to try to get the taste of that out of their mouths, and it's just. I don't know. It's too many. Max Crosby. I can't
go with the Raiders again.
I wouldn't pick them. I wouldn't bet on them, but I just think it's too many to lay with the Chargers.
Okay. I respect that.
Yeah. Okay. Last game of Sunday, Broncos Commanders. Denver's laying 5.5 on the road. I don't really know that much. It's changed on the injury side of things for Washington, but
McLaurin's in, Mariota's in. Daniels is out. The kid running back was amazing the last game for them, Rodriguez. He basically took the job over from that McCroskey Merritt guy. So the question is,
he was sick today, by the way.
Who was?
Rodriguez missed today, but not from an injury, from a sickness.
Oh.
McLaurin still has the quad. He was limited, but I guess he was a half participant. Treylon Burks, questionable, limited. Like there's a lot of questions on Washington's side. I mean,
it should be a really good matchup for Bo Nix and the Denver offense. I know maybe coming out, they may be a little slow coming out of a bye. I think both teams are coming off a bye. So I mean, listen, Denver clearly has the best defense. I like the under in this game. I think Bo Nix probably won't be as good as you think he's going to be, even against a bad matchup. The question is, can Mariota and Washington keep them hanging around to cover that number? And I would have to say no. I mean, I think Denver is at least a touchdown better than Washington, especially if they have real aspirations. I think the defense will shut down Washington pretty easily. I don't know what weapons. I mean, obviously they have Debo, but again, you're dealing with Mariota. So if Bo Nix plays a halfway decent game with their offense and the way they can run the ball, I think their defense can clamp down on them. I like Denver in the under.
Okay. It's a maybe. Let's watch these offensive injuries for Washington. I think I don't even know if Jaden is possibly playing.
I don't think so. I think Jaden's out.
He was limited on Wednesday, so he was out there, and he's number one on the chart. So let's just watch all that, and McLaurin, like all those when I first saw this line, I was like, oh, that's a lot for Denver to lay. I kind of just had a quick flashback to the Jet game. And I know it was in London, but Denver's offense, can struggle, as we've both seen. You know what I mean? So to lay this many on the road just felt like a lot the first time I looked at it. But let's watch the injuries as the week goes on. We have time.
I kind of agree. It is a decent size number to lay. I just don't. That line tells me that it's going to be Mariota, that McLaurin's not 100% healthy, and I just don't. I just don't see how Washington's going to score enough points unless you're telling me their defense for some reason is going to slow down Denver's offense, and maybe Bo Nix doesn't have a great game. But I thought he looked really good against Kansas City at home in the last time we saw him, especially in the fourth quarter.
No, I know. Don't disagree. Okay, let's keep our eye on that. Final game of the week, Giants, Patriots. I don't know. After watching the Patriot-Bengal game, and watching, a mediocre defense get the pressure. Again, that's why I like Cincinnati on Thanksgiving night, because of the way the defense played. They got pressure. The offensive line for the Patriots is not great. I continue to believe that that Mike Vrabel's not a good coach. Like, I question shit that he does every time they take the field.
I think he's a good coach.
I don't. Too conservative, questionable calls, punting on the plus side of the field still, like just stuff other coaches don't do in this day and age. And I don't know. I constantly find myself wondering why he called what he did in certain situations, especially late. But the bigger thing in this game is I just think this is too many to be laying on a Monday Night Football game against a Giant team who has been competitive against, some of the best teams, and especially with Dart healthy. I like the 7 here, and the money finally came into the market. Actually, it was 7.5. Money finally came in on New York and moved this to 7.
What's our line?
It's probably 7.5. Let me double check. Yeah, 7.5.
7.5, Jack. I got to tell you, I'm with you. I like what I'm seeing out of the Giants. There's a lot of fight with Jameis. I know there's some issues with what's been going on with Abdul Carter, and Dexter Lawrence is hurt, and he re-injured the elbow. He may not be playing, which we have to keep an eye on for sure. Yeah. But the Patriots put their star offensive lineman, the rookie kid Will Campbell, on the IR, and they also the left guard got hurt. So, generally against the Giants front four, if you have 2 starting offensive linemen, including your best one, that's not playing, it's going to be very hard to move the ball, you would think. And it's going to be a tough night for Drake May. So 7.5, considering the Giants are kind of playing fast and loose. And with Jameis, they seem to be scoring some points. So, the one thing about Jameis is, he throws the ball to the other team sometimes, and we haven't really seen him do it. He did it in the Packer game, of course, in the last throw of the game, and they lost the game 27-20. But I thought Jameis played really well last week.
Oh my God, he was I don't know if you know this, but he was the number 1 quarterback in terms of EPA last week in the league.
Yeah, he played unbelievable.
He caught a touchdown. He threw, I don't know how many. It was unbelievable. Anyway, it doesn't matter because Dart's playing, though.
Is Dart going to play? He's questionable. I don't know if he's playing.
I think, like, the status I'm seeing, Kafka said he's going to practice in full today. He's still in the protocol.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know. That seems like conflicting information, but I kind of feel like I would be okay with either one of them.
I would too. I think 7.5 is a real number. I would lock that in. So I like our closing line value. We got the Bears with 7.5. Cincy was 7.5. The Giants was 7.5. Those are 3 numbers that we got favorable numbers on in our top 5 that I'm comfortable taking.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Packers, Bengals, Bears, Panthers, and Giants.
I don't have the Packers. I like Detroit.
Okay. Sorry, we don't have 5.
I think we have the Bears, we have Cincy, we have the Giants. We talked about the Texans plus 4.5.
Yeah.
That we both kind of liked. I'm trying to get you there on Tampa. We may
Yeah,
be able to
let me actually put. I agree with that one more than what was the one you just said before that?
Texans plus 4.5.
Oh, right. I like that too.
We kind of like that. We kind of liked Carolina plus 10.5. Bite the lip, punch ourselves in the gut, maybe take that. Although
I think I'm probably much happier with a buy low spot on Tampa here. Is like I said, like I feel like they hit rock bottom after the Rams game. Perception is incredibly low. It's all hinging on Baker's shoulder.
totally agree.
But if he goes, and even though he hasn't been playing great, I feel like they're going to run the table and win these last 4 games.
I agree, and it's 2.5. We got good CLV there.
Yep. Okay, so I'll switch it to that for now,
right.
and we'll watch the injuries.
So Bears, Cincy, Texans, Tampa, and the Giants.
Bear. Oh, right. Sorry. Let me change that. It was the Packers that I had that you didn't like.
Right. I like the Lions there. I think LaFleur struggles, and I think the Lions are going to be ready to go.
Yeah. Bengals, Bears, Carolina, Giants, and Tampa.
Carolina or the Texans?
Carolina 10.5 at home, or the Texans 4.5 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll talk. It's hard to pass up the double-digit home dog.
I might try and get you there on Miami against a bad Saints team. I watched that kid Slough or whatever his name is play quarterback. He's terrible.
Yeah, I know. I actually agree with you. I think, I could be talked into that. I kind of feel like the Saints are done playing football and getting ready for the draft. I mean, I know no player ever thinks that way, but it's starting to look like that a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Long show tonight,
way,
but well worth it.
Speaking of conspiracy and gambling in the NFL, and somebody wrote fake news on this, but I think it was all
no, that's true.
All week. The Browns.
It's true what you said about the Browns. Yeah.
The over under was 36.5. They were on the 29-yard line in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, and they punted.
Yeah.
Rather than kick a field goal with a guy that can make 55, 60-yard field goals.
No. I know it's true. It's true that we did that. And I think we're up by 17, and there's no
14.
reason.
It was 24-10.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just simple. And I think they even asked Stefanski in the press conference, and he said it. Yeah, it was just our defense we completely shut them down. We didn't need any, we were just pinning them and playing defense. And it's just like the only thing that can go wrong if you try to kick a field goal there, even though it's short, is a blocked field goal.
You're not blocking a field goal from the 29-yard line in the NFL. Very rarely. It's the long.
That's not true, Joe. That's a 45-yard field goal.
It's the long ones that get blocked. I'm just saying, like, we see field goals from 60 yards every week.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was that. It was a little weird, but I didn't think it was. I've seen crazier things.
Super suspicious for gamblers. Anyone who had the over was like, what the fuck is happening? I've never seen a team punt from the 29-yard line. I got to be honest with you. Never in my life. Once.
It's funny. And in this day and age, if they would have went for that, nobody would have blinked. They'd be like, oh, yeah, of course they're going for it.
It was fourth and probably long. But from the 29-yard line, you punted? I played football my whole life and watched it. I've never seen that once.
It would have been a 45-yarder. And why give them that field position when you can put them inside the 10 and just play defense again and get another sack?
God, I hate Stefanski. Another reason why I just hate Stefanski, and it just drives me crazy. He does dumb shit. They all do dumb shit. I hate all these coaches. They're all so dumb.
And with that, we wrap up our show, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your friends and family. Joel, good luck in your turkey bowl.
You too. Enjoy dinner with the family and Stella.
Yeah. We're going down to South Jersey tomorrow. 21 people.
Attaboy.
My parents, two great grandchildren in the house.
Greatest thing ever. My God. It's
going to be awesome.
That's so cool.
All right, everyone. Good luck with your selections, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, guys.